Hi, this is my post on threats in social media about a case study involving threats over the World Wide Web. So, what do we know? Background on the case study. This is a highly prestigious school where students are high achieving, wanting those top grades to be valedictorian, salutatorian. The principal has been there for 9 years and only hires highly effective teachers in their area of study. Miss Tate is going on her second year teaching there. She is a science teacher that teaches specialized courses such as zoology and botany. She has a very rigorous classroom, and because of that, students and parents are concerned that their grades may drop. There have been continued complaints about Miss Tate's instruction and the rigor of her class. Also know that Miss Tate received an email that led her to a Facebook page that had offensive, possible threatening comments on it. Um, she immediately contacted the principal about the website, made him aware. Throughout the year, because parents have had complaints, the principal has also been making suggestions of how Miss Tate can improve instruction, but those have not been implemented successfully yet. Miss Tate does now fear for her safety based on this new website. So what do I need to know? I do feel like you need to know maybe who sent the email and who created the Facebook page to see if they're one and the same or different people. And then the reason why. That will come at a later time, but I mean, why was it created? Is it just venting or is there something behind it? Also, what impact these comments could have on the way Miss Tate instructs, if it will affect her teaching or not. It will affect her teaching, but just to what level? And then what kind of contact have parents had directly with Miss Tate? Are they just calling the principal and making concerns, or has there actually been discussion with her? I also would like to know some background on Miss Tate as far as what type of communication she's had with parents directly. She has been made aware of the concerns because the principal's made suggestions to her. So what has she done from there? Has she taken any steps to improve the instruction and the relationship with her students or not? Also, what kind of actions does she plan to take now that she's aware of this webpage being out there? And also, has any teacher development been assigned to kind of improve her instruction and also help her with more quality relationships with her students? So I feel the problem is this. I believe Ms. Tate is a strict teacher with a very rigorous class. This has made students and parents concerned because they don't feel they can hold an A due to the rigor in her class and the lack of quality instruction. Highly offensive comments were posted over social media, and that has made Miss Tate a fear for her safety, which is top priority. So my proposed plan of action, I would view the webpage and gather information, have an initial meeting with Miss Tate just to discuss her feelings, kind of strategize, what our plan should be. I will meet with the students one-on-one and before I bring in Miss Tate or the parents to discuss things going on. All right, I would also encourage any parents with concerns to contact Miss Tate directly before coming to me, and that way maybe the issues can be resolved. If the comments made were threatening in nature, then I believe law enforcement needs to be made aware of it so that they can view the post and decide where to go from there. And then once all the meetings have taken place, that's when the consequences or punishments can be assigned. Also, some future steps that I think should be taken. Ms. Tate definitely needs to be encouraged to have training to improve her instruction and her relationships with students. I would check back with her to see if anything has improved in her class once those strategies have been implemented. And then I would make sure to get in and observe her classroom a few times just to see what actually takes place and why there might be a concern there. So my strategies, after viewing the webpage, I must follow the school handbook and board policies on how the decisions are made and the meetings are held. After meeting with Ms. Tate, meeting with the student individually, then we will or meeting with Ms. Tate, I guess, first, we will decide on a strategy and agree that no blame will be placed on students, that we are just there to question and find out who is actually involved. I will question the students one-on-one, just to kind of keep it on the down low, I guess, and make sure that if students that aren't aware of the web page, that then they don't go searching for it and know what they're looking for. I will make sure parent contact is made if there are students that are involved, so that the parents are aware, because they might be involved as well. That's something to consider. Then Ms. Tate will be in the meeting with the parent and student and myself. We will discuss where to go from there and make it aware that law enforcement will be contacted if needed. So for resolving the issue, I must note that the success of all my students is my top priority. So no matter how hard the decision may be, I must do what's best for all my students. So I do have two options. Number one is to get the training Ms. Tate needs for better communication and effective teaching in her classroom. And then also consider the option of students that are unsatisfied to transfer out at semester to another class. Being that her class is specialized, they don't necessarily have to be in there. My second option would give Ms. Tate the rest of the fall semester to make the necessary changes. If she doesn't make changes on her own, then it will be a question of whether she still belongs within her district. I always want to encourage that rigor continues in our school, because it is a very prestigious school, and that is one thing that, we have a good reputation for. I don't want to ruin that. But I do want to encourage Ms. Tate to communicate with parents, any concerns they have. I want her to listen to them and then also make her suggestions on how she thinks things can improve. So the reflections that I have concern that Miss Tate's feeling lack of safety is an issue, and I believe that will affect her classroom, so I have to keep that in mind. I'm also concerned about how the questioning will affect what takes place in her classroom and her role at the school. And being a principal of the school for the past 9 years, the prestige and rigor of the school must be a top priority. That definitely needs to be enforced. There are some unresolved issues that I feel will not be handled immediately, but still need to be of concern. It's just, how does social media affect the school community and the classrooms? How much impact can I have on that, being that it happens outside of our school building? I want to be fair in the decision, but I don't want to set a low standard that other students will try to manipulate their way into. I must consider how my decisions will affect Ms. Tate, her classroom, her students, and our school community as a whole. And then even if it comes down to Ms. Tate no longer being employed, what are the chances that this would continue with another teacher? So some examples of integrity. I feel like that I will always be respectful to Ms. Tate's choice of having a rigorous classroom and encourage her to continue that. I will not accuse any student. I will work with Ms. Tate to come up with a plan and listen to her concerns and consider all options. For being fair, I won't point any fingers and place any blame. I will include Ms. Tate in the decisions, but also involve parents. I will allow everyone to speak up and address their concerns, and do not rush any decisions. I will follow the school handbook, contact law enforcement, and make sure that I encourage Ms. Tate to be the best teacher that she can be. Because I hired her, I know that she is. My final thoughts on this, I feel like my school can still function smoothly, and that I can make a decision that will deter anyone else from making these posts. I must be stern but fair as well, and keep everyone in mind. And so it's a very difficult decision. There will be somebody unhappy, but that is just what happens there. All right.